my job is to find players, whether they're already in professional baseball or they're playing in this league or they're playing in the park.
So I'm here with Jaleel Leach, former MLB player and current scout with the Miami Marlins, and we're going to be talking about, what do scouts look for when it comes to being recruited, getting drafted. I wanted to get someone that was credible, someone that's been through it, and now who's helping others get to that next level. He's been mentoring me as well to help evaluate players, so I can help players get drafted as well. So can you tell them, before we go into that, can you tell them a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, Jermaine, no problem. In a nutshell, I'm from Northern California. Went to high school at San Marin High School in Nevada. From there, I got a baseball scholarship to play at Pepperdine University. Drafted by the New York Yankees in the 7th round of the 1990 draft. Signed, and like most guys, when you get drafted and signed, you want to get to the big leagues as quick as possible. 4 years went by, 5 years went by, 8 years went by, and in my 12th year in the minor leagues, after bouncing around to several teams, I got to the big leagues with the Giants. And from there, it was one cup of coffee, and I never got back. Bounced around a little more, finished up in Mexico, and as soon as I got done with that, my brother and I decided to start a baseball school. And at the time when we started the baseball school, it wasn't as common as it is today. So we were kind of at the forefront of doing that, and we basically started out at the high school field with one kid, Chris Reardon, and we just built the business with no business plan. And then we went on from there to rent cages in an existing softball school, and then eventually we opened our own facilities, which we had for, I believe it was 16 years. And we had 7 boys reach the major leagues. A lot of kids went on and played college, and girls. We did softball as well. Our biggest guys that made it to the big leagues, Reese Hoskin, I gave lessons to every Sunday morning. All the way through high school, I coached Eric Dames. I worked with Charlie Culverson, and there's a few more that my mind's slipping me. But that's basically it. I just gave back the knowledge that I've learned over the years as a player. Being around guys like Derek Jeter, Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds. I took in all their information, Sean Dunson, Gerald Williams, I can go on and on. And basically from there, I got into scouting with the Yankees. I guess it's been probably 11, 12 years now as a pro scout. And I did pro stuff for them, and then I went from there to the Giants, to my current team, which is the Miami Marlins. And I'm the Pacific Rim Coordinator, Special Assignment Scout. And basically what that is, under normal situation, I go to Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and look for those players when they're ready to come to America. The Otanis of the world, since he's must-see TV right now. And then I also do organizational coverage here in the States. So like this year I'm covering the Giants, the A's, the Rockies from their major league team all the way down to their low-level A team. And I'll dabble in the amateur free agents, that the kids that are going to go in the draft as well. So I just like evaluating players across the board is really what I'm passionate about. I just love being at the ballpark.
That's amazing. Yeah, we're going to have to get you on and talk about hitting. This channel, we always talk about hitting here, and one of these days when we have time, when we come back, we're going to, just sit down and talk, and get your philosophy on hitting. I know there's a lot of things I can learn as well. So before we go on to, the main segment, your son, he's here with me. I've been coaching him. He's doing a phenomenal job. He's hitting for power. He has a high average. He's driving in runs. I think he's leading the team in RBIs. What do you have to say about that?
Well, for me, with him, just seeing him from, when he could walk, first pick up a bat, to Little League, to travel ball, through high school, he went to junior college, and then now where he's at University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, to, coming here and playing in this Abbey League, that's sanctioned by MLB. The one thing, and I've been texting a few of my scout friends, is if I were evaluating him, and I guess it's real is his power, you know, and I'm trying to figure out the last few nights, because I've seen him now, the 4 days up here, I've seen him drive the ball right-handed, I've seen him homer left-handed, and they're legitimate shots. And so now I'm thinking, when I was thinking his future power before, I didn't know that I didn't think he would have as much as he's shown. So it's like now, in the scout world, rarely do players go up 2 grades. You know, they can go up 1, maybe go down 1, but now with this power surge, if it's real, it could literally go up 2 grades for him. And you know, that the stuff that he's been doing is really gonna put himself on the map. Because for me, hitters always play. You know, everyone needs hitting. I know people want to talk about pitching, you know, but if you can hit, I always say 9 gloves, dog. So what he's doing, what you and Brownie are doing with him is phenomenal. And maybe it's just the daily grind of him being in this pro environment where basically 6 days a week you're at the field doing the repetitive movements. Maybe that's what's got him clicking. There's no lag time. Whereas in high school, college, junior college, you have more days off and there's more room for error. Where this, it's like a grind. Every day I gotta do my routine, get in the game, pop. You know, the ball, as we know as hitters, it doesn't matter how hard guys are throwing. You keep seeing it, it'll slow down and you'll be able to time it up. That's why no pitcher on planet Earth can routinely throw the ball by batters. And I'm talking to Aroldis Chapman now. He gets hit with his fastball, and no one throws any harder than him. So it's impressive what he's doing, and I know he loves it. This, you know, I don't push it on him, and this is on him. However far he takes it, it's, you know, it's no credit to me. It's really the work he put in as a ball player. He's wanting to get better.
I still ain't getting any love. He told me at first base, he said, and we're talking about Jaleel Leach. He told me at first base, he's only going to give me credit if he hits more home runs this year than his home run total in his entire life. So we're trying to get there right now. So, and his dad's not giving me a little credit either. I'm just messing over. I'm just messing around. But now let's get into, you know, the recruiting side. You know, you being here, and you know, the first day I asked you, are you turning in names to your organization, the Miami Marlins? Like, you being here, what do you look for in players? And if there's players out there who dream of getting drafted, what would be your advice? How do they go about this? And you know, just give us a little bit, you know, of information on how this works.
Well, when I first was coming out here to see him play, you know, I reached out. I'm in a different department, but I reached out to the director of our amateur department, told him where I was going to be for 4 days, and you know, he said, "Okay, cool. You know, my job is to find players, whether they're already in professional baseball or they're playing in this league or they're playing in the park. I mean, we're in the business of finding players. So." For me, yeah, I want to be a dad and watch my son play, but I'm also looking for players constantly. And you know, and I've seen some kids. The first team we played at Pulaski, I liked their center fielder, so I was taking notes. Same thing I do for the pro guys: get a run time, see how he swings the bat, how his instincts are, his athleticism. The thing with kids, though, especially these kids, you know, they're anywhere from 18 to 22, 23. They're still going to grow. Their bodies are going to change. Some of them are going to become men, you know. So I have to take that. These guys aren't finished products. They're not major leaguers. They're really far from the major. So I have to dream on some of these kids. And, you know, today, Sunday, we played Johnson City, and the guy throwing for our team are the Axemen. Both starters I like, and I'm going to turn their names in. So for me, for a player out there wanting to play professional baseball, it's one thing my dad said to me when I was growing up. When you cross that line, you never know who's watching. Because he used to, and he used to say things like, you know, general managers of team scouts, they have kids, they go to games, owners, whoever, they have kids, grandkids, they go to games. Well, here I am, a scout really in here to watch his son play, but I'm also looking for players. And whether these guys I put in, whether they're on the map already or not, well, I'm giving at least my organization more information about these young men. And hey, keep an eye on them, because you know, if they're eligible in a year or 2 or 3 or now, hey, maybe we could steal a guy. And once you get into the daily grind of professional baseball, then, you know, anything can happen. Once you got a uniform, you got a chance.
So can you walk us through the process? I know you just touched on, you know, you're looking at guys, but can you walk us through the process? You said you look at the way they run, the athleticism, but can you just get a little bit more details on that, so if like there's someone that's watching, they can kind of have an idea of like what to, you know, start working on?
Well, the first thing, and I think no matter where you're at, if you're an amateur or pro, and I'm talking position player, is the 5 tools. And it's hit for power, run, throw, and field. Okay, so for a position player, whether you're a catcher, whether you're a second baseman, shortstop, center fielder, left fielder, what have you, you know, you got to think of, you really have to think hard what type of player, and learn thyself. Learn what type of player you are. Everyone doesn't have to be Ohtani and Mike Trout. There's a lot of guys in the major leagues that made a long career because they know themselves. So I always tell the kid, figure out what kind of player you are and play to your strengths. And if you're a guy known for your glove, then catch the ball, you know, because people will remember that. Because as we know, being players or former players, when the game is tight, the manager, the coach, he wants the guys he could sleep easy on at night, you know. Or if the game is tight, you want the guy up there who you know is going to give you a good AB, you know. So you have to learn thyself in that regard. But the tools are what they are. If you can run, that works to your advantage. If you can throw, that works to your advantage. You know, if you have hand-eye coordination, bat to ball skills, that works to your advantage. I mean, if you have raw power, and raw power is, you know, how far you can hit a ball like in batting practice. One of the kids on our team here, he's got probably 6 or 7 raw power. So, you know, as a scout, now if I watch him play, I have to try to figure out, is that raw power, or can that raw power translate into the game? And because that's what we want, is game production, not practice production. And there's just a variety of things, and just really, you know, those tools are very, very important, but I also like intangibles. And intangibles are the guy who's got great work ethic, the guy who loves to be here, who wants to be here, a good teammate, you know, because as we know in professional baseball, and the kids are learning here in the Abbey League, you out here 6 days a week. You're in the locker room with these same dudes for 6 days a week, and you see them more than you see your family. And just like any family, there's going to be arguments, disagreements, conflict, and you just got to learn to work through it. And then you have to find a way, even as the summer increases, the heat increases, to motivate yourself to perform. I mean, you have to have self-motivation, because I just look at the Axemen roster, all the rosters, there are a lot of guys on every team. So one misstep, a couple bad games, you be back on the bench, and it's like, man, I got to go out there and ball. So you have to concentrate. And at the major league level, that's the highest level of baseball, the pinnacle. So, you know, I know we know all the great players, the Tatis, the Posies, the so on and so forth. But there's dudes at the end of the roster, just they are day to day, because the big league team wants to win. And they will change out, interchange, sorry, hey, great job. It's a business. So you have to take this like a business as a young player if this is what you want to do, you know. And yes, you must enjoy it. Yes, you got to have fun at it. Yes, it can be the greatest job in the world, but you got to dedicate yourself to it. And I look at it, at least from my perspective, it needs to be an addiction, you know, because you got to squeeze every bit out of your ability to get, if your goal is to play in the major leagues. And it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of highs, a lot of lows, a lot of traveling, a lot of, you know, a lot of things are going on, but somebody makes it to the big leagues. I've watched us, the Axemen, play 2 different teams, Johnson City Doughboys and Pulaski, what were they, River Turtles?
Yeah, River Turtles.
And I'm like saying, well, between these teams, somebody here is going to show up in the big leagues in 4 years. or 5 years or what have you. It might be a couple guys, and it might be a guy that I didn't know or wasn't even paying attention to, or it might be, guys show up at different spots in their career, and you just never know. But if this is what you want to do, you got to dedicate yourself, and it's a sacrifice. Hey, Friday night, Saturday night, you got day game, you might have to, get into bed. You got to get your rest, because as it heats up during the summer, we know heat, especially when you're back east in the south, that humidity will drain you quick. And if you're back from a hitter standpoint, your bat speed slow down, you're an out. So
yeah.
It's a dedication, but it's a fun one.
So last question for you. You've been here for 4 days, and before your son got here, what did you think about the Abbey League? And now that you're here, what are your thoughts on the Abbey League, the talent, and just walk me through what you've noticed here so far. Is it good? Is it going to get better? Like in your perspective.
I mean, I think this is great with what MLB has done, by bringing the college kids into this environment. I think it's smart by MLB USA Baseball to create like a league of their own, so to speak, where they can vet out, these freshmen, sophomore, whatever grade these kids are in, and kind of, because I know they're doing the analytics and there's video. I mean, this just can help them track maybe future downline professional players. So I know it's the first year, like anything, I'm sure they're figuring out ways to work out the kinks, but for these towns like the Appalachian League that had pro teams in here before, or what they got going on up in the New York Penn League, I think it's the MLB Draft League. I mean, that just gives kids more exposure to get in front of teams, because if you're out at Timbuktu State and a scout doesn't even know where you are, but you can play and you find your way into this league. I mean, to me, for everyone, this should be like your World Series. These 2.5 months, because I don't know where all this information that they're gathering analytically and the video, where it's going, but it's going to end up in someone's hands or all the organization's hand, and they're going to see who they need to put in the system and start tracking. So for me, just popping in here for 4 days as a pro scout, I mean, I got probably a half dozen names, that I'm just going to put on the system, and at least it'll red flag to our people that, hey, Jalal was in there watching his boy for 4 days and he saw these guys. Make sure, wherever the kids go back to school, Illinois, wherever they come from, make sure we get in there and keep track of them as they come closer to the draft.
Amazing. So I want to thank you guys. If you like this and you want him to come back, comment below, hit that like button if you want to see more stuff like this, where we have scouts, where we have professionals come on, talk to you guys, give you more information. Definitely hit that like button. Again, let me know if you're interested in this by commenting below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.